his video is symptomatic of some bullshit that is going on, that is being propagated by people that don't have any experience of the industry, are ill-informed, or who are bitter at the situation that they are in. And I really just want to... They're in the 60s. That's the past. And I love those artists. I grew up on Jimi Hendrix and Peter Green and all these amazing guys. But you know what? There are some great guitar players every single year. There's a new guitar player who's really, really cool. I think a lot of people get stuck in this, oh, there are no more guitar heroes. Man, I'm telling you now, there are more guitar heroes than ever. All that's happened is that things have moved and changed. TV artist. And then, of course, history repeats itself. When YouTube came out, they're just YouTube artists. They're not really musicians. But now that's gradually subsiding. And what you're finding is that YouTube accessing and utilizing musicians are obviously just musicians using the new medium to reach people. I mean, most of you have been watching television your entire lives. It's the same thing. In fact, now most people watch YouTube on a TV in the evenings. I know I do. I sit down, I whack on YouTube or Netflix, to be honest, which is just posh YouTube, and experience music that way. Anyway, so there aren't less people watching music or guitar music. It's just moved to different places. That's all. In fact, I'm just going to say something controversial, but the majority of people who say that music is dead, guitar is dead, unfortunately, in my experience, they're failed and they're bitter. And what they're telling you is that to them it's dead.
It's kind of an understatement, really, being accused of being bitter. It's an understatement, because when you have your old bands, things like, rock and roll, from the Beatles to The Who, to Queen, to AC/DC, to Nickelback, Five Finger Death Punch, it's kind of an understatement that I'm bitter. It's like, what has been taken from us? It's irreplaceable. And what do we have to deal with? Avenged Sevenfold are the big guns now? So let's not complain, right? And we're wondering why we don't have guitar heroes anymore. We don't have guitar heroes. I mean, Chappers didn't talk about anything in my video apart from one thing: how to make money as a guitarist. And that is his biggest blind spot. That is his whole argument is his biggest blind spot. Keith Moon. What is Chappers telling Keith Moon? Keith Moon was an alcoholic, crazy, wide-eyed lunatic. Rock and roll. He was rock and roll. And all Chappers wants him to do is start his website, start his Twitter, start his live Instagram, and make money by, you got to upload, you got to record on YouTube. I mean, how many videos has Chappers done? Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of hours, right? This is all you have to do to make money now, is go and record those 10,000 hours of guitar stuff so people will like you, and then go and hopefully then some music store or someone will actually back you and bring you in, and then you grow together and the rest of it, and then you have to put your band together and you have to go to clinics and the rest of it. And think now of Keith Moon. Is Keith Moon going to be a mogul, and is he going to make music better if he is worrying more about how many followers he's getting on Instagram? Hey all, welcome to Circular Tone, and today it's a response. So there's been a few videos floating around where people understandably question my rants on the state of today's guitar and how rock is dead, metal is dead, underground dead, guitar and interest in guitar in general is dead. And I do believe that. Some people have gone a bit too literal, saying like guitars disappeared. Let's not get too black and white. My whole point is relative, okay? Let's get into it. Let's find out. If you like these types of vids, please subscribe. And you guys have been subscribing a lot recently, which is fantastic. So if you haven't, subscribe and keep this channel going. Really appreciate it. And speaking of channels and keeping it going, Rob Chapman didn't watch my video. It's kind of obvious that he didn't watch my video. He probably saw the headline and then went straight to his de facto New World marketing aspect instead of concentrating on what I was talking about. What did I talk about? In my video, I talked about the death of rock and how we can't get back to it with modern bleeding edge studio techniques. What techniques am I talking about? Fake drums, time signatures, everybody's using the same easy drummer and that type of thing. And how is that going to kill rock? Let's get into it. Keith Moon of The Who. How many Keith Moons in the past 10 years have been buried because some producer took his drums, replaced them with somebody else's samples, and dragged all of his hits into time, and then called that good for drums? How many Keith Moons have we lost? The metronome and digital drums in rock and metal. What was rock? What is rock? Right? Rock came from what? The blues. Protest music. Protests against what? The gritty realities of life, right? That's what rock is. It was pushing against the over-processed, happy, smiley swing music and the happy, smiley, Ovaltines type of stuff back in the day. Somebody wanted something with grit, right? They're not getting that today because everything sounds like a drum machine and everything has had that human element, taken out of it. And that is the biggest point of my video of how rock is dead, where you will not get Queen, you will not get AC/DC, you will not get The Who, and you certainly will not get a Black Sabbath with, the fake drums and the rest of it, because it isn't gripping people. And that was my biggest argument against guitar dying. So now we have what? Who is our The Who today? Five Finger Death Punch? Nickelback? Who is our Queen? When Chappers said there's amazing guitarists coming out every year, I don't deny that there's amazing technical players coming out every year, but they're becoming faceless because of the trend of bleeding edge modern recording for rock and metal. They're all sounding like one long vanilla sausage of sameness because of what? Automated drums, everything snapped to a grid. They're using the same mic, SM57. They're using the same speaker, a vintage 30 Celestion. You know what I mean? The same rules, max on overdrive in front of a 5150 or a Marshall or a, or a Mesa Recto. Same rules. And we're wondering why we don't have guitar heroes anymore. We don't have guitar heroes. Think now of Keith Moon. Is Keith Moon going to be a mogul? And is he going to make music better if he is worrying more about how many followers he's getting on Instagram? Is this rock? Is this metal? It's kind of completely proves my point about how dangerous it is now. I mean, if his headline was being a guitar YouTuber isn't dead, I would agree, because he is in a fantastic position because he has done the ridiculous amount of work. He's been there and done it from the beginning of YouTube. So all it takes is for him to have prodigious guitar talents, because he is a fucking great guitarist, also great at writing songs, and also you have to have the personality, you have to have the force of will to keep on doing these videos back in the day when nobody was watching him, and then he grew. Are you going to ask a Keith Moon to do that, who's just a talented drummer? Does he even own a computer? You know what I mean? Who are these kids? It's expecting a lot from a musician to wear 5 hats. That is why music is dying, because there's that one guy, that controller like me, that knows how to do all the stuff that Rob was talking about, and I'm slowly getting into it myself, right? Not everybody's like me. Not everyone's like Chappers. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm like Chappers, but I did get mistaken for him once in Guitar Center, which is pretty funny. But there's also It's like, who do you expect these kids? So not only do they have to write these amazing songs like in The Who, and they just really hold it down like Keith Moon did. Well, didn't hold it down. He like threw it up in the air. They were expected to do all this fucking meet and greets and YouTube rules and become a multimedia mogul. How is that going to make him write better songs? It's going to distract him from writing good songs. It's going to make guitar even more dead because nobody's thinking, holy shit, listen to that drummer. You know what I mean? Because he isn't going to be practicing and doing what he loves. He's going to be worrying that his thumbnail isn't good enough for YouTube. It detracts from rock and roll, from metal. And now all these bands are like full of these overly intelligent guys. You don't fucking resonate with any of these new school guitarists that Chappers says are coming out every year. They are coming out every year, and nobody's buying their shit. Nobody likes them. Musicians like them. You know what I mean? Because like I see guys shredding away and I'm thinking, holy shit, this guy's great. Outside that little bubble that we're in, they're nothing compared to AC/DC, nothing compared to Motorhead. And, what do we have to show for it? He says that all these guitarists are coming out every year. Yeah, they are. Nobody cares because they're not that good, because why? They're probably on a plane on their way to Germany to Tolman or something to do to fucking record some cabinets or something, instead of in a band house writing the best songs with the really good backing behind them. It's detracted. Like Become the Night said the same thing. This is all you have to do now is understand that your music is worthless. All right, the songs that you wrote are worthless and they recorded are worthless. That is just to promote you. Oh no, it should be the complete opposite. Your music is worth something. It's the only reason it's not worth anything now, and I'm being general about everybody in rock and metal, the new guys. Nobody's buying it. Why? Is it because it's a new era? No, it's because nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. It's simple as that. I mean, who are the top new entertainers that are, who's the new Guns N' Roses? You know what I mean? Ugh. So yeah, I don't think telling the guitar world that guitar isn't dead, all you have to be is be me, become a YouTuber and everything will be okay. How about, no, we actually start writing good songs with real drums and capturing the drums, capturing the performance. It's all about the performance. And what everybody is hearing is a fake, snap to a grid, fake drummer, fake tempos, everything's cut and paste. The average technical metal song probably has at least 100 edits in it. Cut and paste, there's a bit of a scratch, and it's got to be perfect, right? Just like blues is perfect. Have you heard blues from the 20s? It's just honky-tonk to the extreme. We like the fragile, non-glitzy world of rock and roll. I mean, down to the warts on Lemmy's face. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we promoting here? He didn't give any examples of who are these amazing guitar players. He did say early examples, like, Jimi Hendrix. It's so much better. Jimi Hendrix is so much better. We've gone backwards. There's no rock stars. We need rock stars. Also, Chappers did brush upon guitar sales and have actually gone up. And to that, I already, like, he didn't watch my video. I talked about the impact that acoustic guitars had from people like Taylor Swift. And oh yeah, by the way, here is your savior, Ed Sheeran. Don't worry, Ed Sheeran's got this. He's going to save rock and roll, guys. Save the guitar because he plays acoustic. How much proof do I need that rock is dead where the two main people selling guitars are Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift? Do I need any more proof? Where are our legends? They're gone. They're dead, relatively. My guitar is dead is relative. You have Eric Clapton, you have the Beatles, you have Hendrix, and now you have Avenged Sevenfold, Five Finger Death Punch, fucking Seether. Seether are old. And they shit. It's like, what is going? They're the popular ones. The WWE music. That is what's big now? What have you done? So yeah, being a YouTuber is not dead, guys. Yeah, if you have the personality and if you have the technical skill to record yourself and if you're good with cameras and all the things that Keith Moon weren't good at, knock yourself out. There is like people are really good at it are starting guitar companies, and that is what I would do. That's kind of what I'm trying to do in the future, where like Ola's bringing out his guitars and they're selling great, which is fantastic, and Chapman is guitars are selling great, which is fantastic. So if you're a YouTuber in that space and they got in early, perfect. The guitar is not dead. Well, selling guitars isn't dead in that little piece of the pie that Chappers was talking about. And like the live scene, the current live scene is another thing which I touched on, which has disappeared. I give the example of my father was 15 years old and he was earning more than his father from playing music in South Wales. He'd be playing every single night, gigs, right? And that's gone. So how are you going to get good with your peers? Where are these kids playing? How can you think that guitar is going to be better, stronger than ever if there's no guitarists actually playing together with drums, with bass? How is rock going to be great now? Because everything has been sanitized by, corporatism, with Live Nation and things like that. Shutting all the mom and pop venues are closing down because they can't compete. They've been kind of blackballed in the market, regulations. So it's like, and even if they were venues, there'd be nobody there. There would be nobody there to see this new crop, It was kind of the chicken and egg situation. We need venues. We need practice spaces. We need, I don't even know how to fix it. And honestly, we do need benefactors. Think of the arts. Think of how the operas and places which do the ballet, they have benefactors who chip in and keep the places going. So they have huge donations and they keep these places going. That's what we need. How many Jack Blacks are out there rolling in money, and could they invest in their own little neck of the woods to open up a free rehearsal studio and a venue? You know what I mean? It just needs injections of cash from people who don't want rock to go away, because the government ain't going to do nothing about it. It's got to be down to us, I mean, maybe some governments would open up abandoned buildings if they were pressed hard enough to get the arts back. Tough situation. But all we know is nobody likes this new modern metal. Nobody likes new modern rock. And we're losing so much to rap. I mean, everybody is watching the Childish Gambino video. And if you haven't seen it, go and watch This Is America. That is exciting the kids. That's what's getting them to go, holy shit, I got to get a microphone and work on my dancing and the rest of it, because, he's inspired me to be something. What modern guitarist is going to blow people's mind like that? Because people's mind needs to be blown. It's about being a rock star, getting the root of rock, the root of metal. And but we're being told by all the guys, all the forums and everything, how to record. You snap it to a grid, and then the rest is just vanilla sausage land, So I'm not sure if I'm making much sense. It's more of my opinion is based in love for rock, love for the old metal, the underground. The underground was Celtic Frost, Bolt Thrower, Napalm Death. Death used to be the underground, once upon a time. These were the underground. Who's the underground now that's on that level? Who's the mainstream? Guns N' Roses. Who's, what I mean? Queen. Who's the Metallicas? You know what I mean? Of today. You can't name them. The funniest thing is, the best bands around now are joke bands. I would much rather listen to Ghost. I would much rather listen to Metalocalypse, to what do they call, Death Clock. You know what I mean? These bands are actually better than regular bands, the serious bands, because it's kind of like You know, it's fun. It brings a bit of fun back into rock. Where the fuck is the fun? Where's the yeah? Who else is there? Like Steel Panther. I've one of the last gigs I went to was Steel Panther recently. It's good stuff, and it's a joke band. Am I going to want to watch a couple of vegans with Crocs play some Strymon bloody clean over MIDI sequenced drum machine where the live music is going through a laptop and the rest? Do I want to see that? Or do I want to see Steel Panther? Ironically, Steel Panther do use backing tracks. But they don't hide it. It's part of the fun. So yeah, we've lost our way. It's time for us to admit it. It's time for us to admit it so we can fix it. Get rid of the metronome in your recordings. Before you start crying, you can use a metronome. You can practice to it. You can write to it. You can write to the fake drums. That's all pre-production, all right? But when you get to put your music down seriously, you need to rehearse, and you need to make sure that your band can actually play the music and capture you as a band. Not capture easy drummer, and not capture 127 BPM, and not capture copy and pastes. You know what I mean? We got to sort this out. Get rid of the metronome. Get rid of the MIDI grid. Start recording. You can record to digital. Just try and capture your goddamn drum kit. Because I'm sick of hearing drum machines watered down and make our music, our rock, our metal. I'm sick of listening to over-processed. It's pop music now. It's actually more processed than pop music. So it's eating itself. And now, on top of all this, on this bland vanilla sausage, for musicians to earn money, they're expected to jump through all these hoops now. And they might not be mentally, physically, or financially capable of doing it, of recording the camera. They might be, hey, my music should be enough, and it should be enough. Now people are saying that your music is worth nothing, it's just your advertisement. How much more are we going to lose? We've been ripped off by the record labels. We've been ripped off by radio. We've been ripped off every step of the way, and now we've got to give even more away? Fuck that. Buy music. Make music to expect to get it purchased, you know? And if it doesn't sell, you're not good enough. You know, like me. I sell a few here and there, and that's it. And that is my level. We have to be realistic. But no, don't give it away. You know, that is just the fucking saddest thing of aspect of music right now, where you have these brilliant people making the wrong decisions in the studio and they're sounding bland. Amazing guitarists, and you're not going to know them because they're faceless. It just blends in with the rest of the metalcore, blends in with the rest of the prog, blends in with the rest of the djent, and you wouldn't know a good one from a bad one because they're using the same gear and the same drums, and oh, there's that Strymon, right on time. I brought up Childish Gambino, and what are kids watching apart from that? American Idol. That's their new, literally, it's in the title. You know, that's the people that they are not going to want to strap a guitar to themselves and go hell for leather. Why? Because they want to queue up in some auditorium to karaoke over some music to get people to like them. Karaoke, remember what I was saying? Where people don't have, it's not a me generation, it's a copycat generation. And that's the issue. People are copying the music, the production techniques. They're copying literally the music, like the black metal. I'm not hearing any originality. It's so sad. So the tightrope. How do we bring back metal? In my opinion, we bring it back the old-fashioned way. Real bands living together, recording together, practicing together in real time, and then just keep at it, because apparently your music is worthless. Wow. It's like worth even less than free. So that's it. Hope you like it. And if you want to support the channel, go to circleoftone.com and you can buy a t-shirt or my music or my pickup or my pedal and all sorts of things I have for sale. Or you can just drop me $10 by PayPal, and that would be really appreciated. Keep this thing going. Keep the Rage Against the Machine. Remember that? Oh yeah, that was a good band. Happened to be at the end of the CD era, where most of the music disappeared when the digital recording came in. One last thing, Rage Against the Machine. That album was recorded live in a room with about 40 of their friends in the studio with them. True story. Let's forget that, right? Let's get them into somebody's bedroom with a click track, and let's get the human element out of that, right?